So you may be wondering, is it possible that you can time your travels to be at the right place at the right time? Is there such a thing as being in the right place at the right time?
Hello from Amsterdam.
From Brooklyn, New York.
From beautiful Ubud, Bali.
From San Diego.
I am in Iceland right now.
Shanghai.
I'm in Paris at the moment. I am here on my Jupiter descendant line in Tallinn, Estonia. Hello from Biarritz in France.
Is there such a thing as being in the right place at the right time? I have tested this multiple times in my own life, traveling to the best astrocartography lines that I have on my map and timing it when transits are hitting those areas. And in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how I do this in my own travels, how I manifest magical opportunities, experiences, doors opening for me in my own life when I do life this way, when I time my travels to be at the best optimal place at the best optimal time. Let's get started in today's video on astrocartography with Helena. You guys know from all of the videos that I've made here on this channel and all of the content I've made on my blog, my courses, and even if you've booked a private reading with me or you're one of my students in my main locational astrology course, you know how adamant I am about being at the right place at the right time and why location matters, why place matters, and why astrocartography is the future. With Pluto and Aquarius for the next 2 years, we're going to see more innovation, inventions, ideas, new ahead of the time futuristic technologies that are going to be unlike anything we've ever seen before. These next 20 years, we're gonna be looking back at this time right now as if this were the most old-fashioned period in history. And right now, we are looking at January 27th of 2024. We are just getting started in this new age. And with that, I know that astrocartography is gonna be a tool that everyone's gonna start utilizing, an accessible tool that we can use to go to coffee shops and neighborhoods that are best for us in our local town, to travel to places at the best optimal time, the best weekend. This is the future, and I'm so passionate about sharing more about this, both on this channel, in my courses, and in my new projects that I have revolving around locational astrology. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload, and be sure to head over to my Instagram at Ms. Helena Woods so you can see all the real-time updates as I'm posting stories and sharing my thoughts and experiences in real time. All right, with all of that out of the way, let's get started in today's video. I go much more in depth on timing in my locational astrology course, which is very, very in-depth, dozens of hours of trainings, live Zoom calls, class calls, live streams, our book club, tons of content there. So if you did want to master locational astrology and get really good at timing, I highly recommend checking out my locational astrology course. I'll include the link down below. So LA, why am I here? What brought me to Los Angeles of all places? Because to be honest, I'm not really a city girl in the sense that I really don't like overstimulation, loud noises, cars, traffic. In fact, I have to be honest with you guys, since coming out to LA, my adrenals have felt so shot, so tired all the time from just walking around LA and West Hollywood and not having a car. I love walking, I love being in walkable places, having lived in Europe for the last 6 years, so I'm not used to the car-centric world that is Los Angeles. So to say, why are you here? I mean, that would be such a valid question. Why are you in Los Angeles, Helena? Well, I will tell you why I'm in Los Angeles. And I'm gonna share with you my map here as well so that you can see the transits as they're hitting Los Angeles and this area. I always start astrocartography first with my intuition, meaning step one is asking my inner voice, what part of the world do I feel called to? And usually how this works is I get out a journal and I write down 3 locations in the world that I feel like a call or a pull in my heart to go towards. So I had written Australia and New Zealand, Hawaii, and California. Those were the 3 places that my heart yearned to go toward. When I looked at the chart for California though, and I looked at the transits that were hitting the Los Angeles area in Southern California, I knew that Los Angeles was the pick of those 3 options in my journal that I had written down. And here's why. As you can see here on the map, I have a moon midheaven line going right through Southern California. This is my natal moon, Leo moon on the midheaven at 21 degrees. And I also have a Jupiter rising line. Jupiter was on the ascendant when I was born in this part of the world. On the West Coast, Jupiter was rising, Jupiter on the ascendant. The reason though why I came out here was because I noticed noticed that in my transits, when I pulled up my transits for my natal chart, I noticed that I had Jupiter, obviously has been in Taurus for a while, but you can see that it's approaching my descendant angle. It's also going to be hitting over the sun, the natal sun. As you can see with Jupiter starting to move toward that natal sun position in the chart, that is an activation of a transit. Timing matters. And right now in this phase of my life, I feel so intuitively that I am on the verge of an up level with my work doing astrocartography and locational astrology work. I'm in the middle of my Saturn return, and I know that there's something I'm doing with this work that's going to be very, very important down the road, years from now, that's going to help people. And so I really wanted to focus all in on career right now in this phase of my life. And so when I saw that Jupiter was approaching my sun, and the sun is ruled by Leo. Leo is the sign, the zodiac sign that is connected with the sun. And so when I saw that Jupiter, the planet of good luck, expansion, growth, and opportunity, was approaching that natal sun and that descendant angle coming up, the reason why that Jupiter transit is applying, why is that so important that it's coming up to that natal sun? Well, because it's really important to understand rulership in astrology, the domicile rulers. So this helps us understand more about what other areas of life are being activated when you have a transit. So let's see, Jupiter here, Jupiter, the planet of good luck, expansion, growth, and opportunity, spiritual wisdom. It is moving and applying toward the descendant angle while I'm here in Los Angeles, but also it's going to be hitting that natal sun. Now, first step that you want to do is you want to locate the ruler of the sun, or whatever planet that transit is hitting or applying to. Then you want to take this step further and say, where is Leo in the natal chart? Well, in my chart, Leo is in the 10th house of career, vocation, and public recognition. That's also where I have my moon MC, that moon at 21 degrees, right on that MC point, that angle. So I'm on that moon MC line right now, location-wise, right? And as I'm here, not only am I getting a Jupiter transit that's crossing over this area, and you can see this by pulling up your map of the world. And I highly recommend using SolarFire as the go-to astrocartography software, because there's so many bells and whistles, so many things that you can see that no other astrocartography software shows, including cyclocartography, transits, and progressions, meaning you can see those lines crossing over the map, crossing over locations in the world. Specifically, we're looking at when those transits and progressions are exactly on the point where those angular planetary lines are. Essentially, what you're seeing is kind of like looking at your map as if it were an overlay. So you've got those natal lines going across your map, right? And you can pull up the timing then using SolarFire, and you could see like, oh, there's that Jupiter transit, good luck, opportunity, expansion. It's hitting that moon MC line and that Jupiter rising line. So there's a Jupiter square that's being applied right now timing-wise, which is a nice door opening or an opportunity. And that Jupiter is going to be hitting that natal moon line, that moon MC. And so there are two ways you can time your life. The first is to pull up your relocated chart, the birth chart for a new place in the world. And by the way, that time will change, that location will change, data will change, because you are essentially looking at a place in the world. If you took your first breath in life, where in the world was that, and what was the chart? What was the snapshot of the birth chart for that particular place at the exact same moment that you were born? So you can pull up the transits for that new location and the progressions for that new location. You can also do both using cyclocartography, which is what Jim Lewis created. And I've created a whole video on cyclocartography and timing your travels on my YouTube channel, and I talk about this more in my course. You can use both the relocated chart transits and progressions. That's one way that you could see this. Second way to see this is by looking at the map. And this is my favorite way to look at it. I always look at both, but it's my favorite way to look at it because I'm a very visual person and I like to see the map, to see all the countries and the states and the places. You can see using SolarFire that Jupiter transit. See here, that Jupiter transit is applying or moving toward the natal Jupiter line and the natal moon career line that I have here in Southern California. So I knew that I wanted to be here for that Jupiter transit, because the last time I did this, the last time I timed my travels this way, I went out to Estonia, to Tallinn, Estonia, of all of the random places in the world. I went to my Jupiter line, and when I was there, I had a Jupiter transit that was applying. It wasn't directly going over, but it was applying and coming toward that line. It was there when I got to Tallinn, Estonia, that I had an opportunity to be on Fangirl Moment, Chris Brennan's show, the Astrology podcast. To say that I am like a huge fangirl is an understatement. I have been been a fan of his show for years. His show got me through the pandemic, and his course and his book, I've read a million times. I'm just so in love with all the work that he does. When I went out there, I was there for 2 days, and then the opportunity to do that podcast came up, along with other opportunities to collaborate with other people, astrologers, others when I was there in Estonia that I don't usually have. You know, usually I don't get these kinds of opportunities to be on shows that I am such a fan of and all of this, right? But it was then when I went to that Jupiter line and I had a Jupiter transit applying when all of this cool things started happening. I knew that it would happen again here in Los Angeles, not because of just the transits, because the reason I knew to come here was because one, my intuition was so strong. My intuition was like, something amazing is about to happen. You're gonna collaborate, you're gonna connect with people, there's gonna be partnerships, there's gonna be podcast interviews, there's gonna be meeting like-minded people who love astrocartography and love astrology and love spirituality, and you're gonna be meeting with them when you get to LA. I knew that. I didn't know why. But I knew in my gut without a doubt. There wasn't a second of doubt, not even a percentage of doubt at all. It was just 100% knowing. And so there was that. And then the second thing, the logical part of my mind was like, well, let's look at the data here, right? I pulled up the transits on the map and I pulled up what was happening. That Jupiter transit is applying to my natal Jupiter line and my career line here in California. And so all of this to say, my top tips for you for timing your travels is number one, you want to connect with your inner voice and your intuition. I wouldn't just blindly look at the map and be like, where should I be? I would write down a list of the 3 places that you feel a calling to, whether it's going west, whether it's as big as a country or a continent, or whether it's a particular way of life or a culture that you want to immerse yourself in. I really wanted to be closer to beaches and palm trees and lush nature. And so Hawaii, California, and New Zealand, Australia were places that just felt a resonance with. So that's step 1. But step 2 is pull up your transits and progressions using SolarFire. Use the SolarFire map software and add in that animation feature. You can do that by pulling up a subsidiary chart on the top left-hand corner of the Maps feature, Solar Maps. You go down to Subsidiary Chart, you click Cyclocartography or Transits and Progressions, and you can also do transits and you can also do progressions. You can do either or. I usually like to start with a combination of both and then do transits from there. And then you can see on your map what transits are coming in and hitting those natal planetary lines that are on your map. Third step is to pull up the relocated chart for the new location that you're considering and pull up the transits and progressions, or just transits or just progressions for that time. And so for me, I saw, well, Jupiter is applying to my descendant, connections, partnerships, working with others, other people, networks. It's also applying to my natal sun, which rules my career in my 10th house, Leo in the 10th house. That's how I knew to come here. And let me tell you, the amount of opportunities that have come into my life that have flowed effortlessly, seamlessly in my lap. Every morning I wake up to a new email. Every morning something amazing comes in, a DM, an email, an opportunity, a meeting with someone that opens a doorway to something else. I wish I recorded more of like me in the moment because I was just so shocked. I couldn't believe this. It felt like everything I touched turned to magic. Everything I touched was like sparkles. It was weird. And it still is now, but I think I'm starting to get kind of used to it now that the like, oh, of course, I'll be like, yeah, like it's fading a little bit. But I'm saying all this because when you follow those Jupiter transits and you've got really nice lines, so you're going to good places and you got Jupiter transits, I mean, it's really cool. It's really cool. I want to make a video kind of talking about my experience being here in LA and what has kind of flowed from these opportunities and waking up every morning to new amazing emails to collaborate and write articles for magazines and blogs I've always wanted and talking with people I've always wanted to talk to. I'm going to talk more in another video. I left France recently, as you guys know, and I was feeling, compared to where I'm feeling now in LA, like completely different energy, by the way. In France, I was feeling so depressed and so heavy, so lethargic, so unmotivated, so lazy, so stuck. And I felt like I had so much responsibilities and I didn't know how to navigate it. And I felt this originally back in the spring of 23 was the first wave I got of that because Saturn was approaching my ascendant out in France. The ascendant is you. The ascendant is your physical body. It's your sense of self. It's what's emanating from you. And as I was on a Saturn ascendant line, so I was embodying Saturn in France, that line, the Saturn ascendant line, which you can see here, it began applying to where I'm living in France right now. And I was feeling that so strongly and I didn't know why. I didn't look at my astrocartography at all. I was actually just living my life, and I was like, why am I so depressed? Why can't I get off the couch? Why am I so stuck? Why can't I get up? Why am I not feeling that resilience that I usually feel, that I naturally am? When I'm in France, I'm on a Saturn ascendant line going through a Saturn ascendant transit with Saturn now in Pisces. It's heavy and it's intense, and I can literally pinpoint it to the exact day of when my body and my physical body started feeling tired. But I come out to California on my Jupiter ascendant line. Jupiter was rising. The moon MC in Leo, and I feel so different. I feel so much more driven here. I feel like I've got a lot more responsibilities here actually right now, but I can get through it. I don't feel stuck. I don't feel tired. I don't feel any of those feelings here at all. There's just this can-do spirit, and that's Jupiter on the ascendant. That's Jupiter rising. And I'm also a Scorpio rising here, right? Let's look at this chart too. Let's look at how this changes. The relocated chart shifts. The ascendant is who you are. I go from being a Pisces rising in France to being a Scorpio rising in California. I'm so much more driven here. I'm so much more passionate, charismatic, ambitious, high energy. Like, I am so much more Scorpio rising being here in California than what I feel with the Pisces rising and the moon in the 6th house, kind of more leisure. It's definitely less energetic, and I'm gonna make a whole video explaining the differences so that you too can understand your own relocated chart. I say all this to say that location matters and where you live matters, especially when you're going through hard transits. When you're going through something like a Saturn return or a Chiron return or a square from Pluto, these things matter, which is why location matters. And if you have the opportunity, if you have the privilege, if you have the ability to travel or to place yourself in different areas, it's an amazing way that you can utilize this technique to continue your life in a thriving way and still create a magical life in places you love. I hope that this helps you and helps you understand why I came out to California in the first place, helps you navigate how to time your own life, and expect a lot more videos and helpful tutorials to help you understand your own map of the world and how to time your life and go to places that support you. If you wanted to learn more, check out my courses down below in the description. You could book a reading with me, but do know that bookings are booking out 4 to 5 months in advance. So if you do want to book a reading with me, there is a wait list, but best way to learn this information is to get involved in the courses, because the courses, you'll have the content immediately, you'll be part of our community, our Zoom calls, all of the things, our past Zoom calls that we've had, our future live stream that we're gonna have coming up. So if you wanted to get this information sooner, I highly recommend checking out the courses, because the readings, while they're amazing and they're so personalized, there's a long waiting list. So I do wanna help you as much as I can, but again, I'm doing a lot and I try to help as many people as I can in a day, but I will start to get burnt out if I am working 5 days a week, 4 readings a day. You know, as much as I'm doing, it's a lot that I'm doing. And so I do want to kind of preface that by saying join the courses if you want to get the information sooner. Aside from that, I hope you guys have a magical day, and I'm sending you so much love, encouragement, support, and I hope that you continue to create a magical life in places you love. Have a magical day.